The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear. The oldest and strongest kind of fear is the fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown is a tendency to be afraid when you have no information on any level about something you face. This can also apply to the games we play. Venturing to a new hobby, a new system, playing in a game table filled with strangers, even having a hand in running a game. There are a lot of things that make us feel uncertain of ourselves or not feel as confident. But this fear can be faced, and so we're dedicating talks from those within the hobby, the community that can greatly benefit new players and those in the community who are feeling anxieties and fears when it comes to playing or running tabletop RPGs. Today we present the first episode of The Fear of the Unknown, the fear of being a new player. And we have here in our guests, our speakers, Mr. Bear and DM Corgi. Review. Yes.
Hello there. Mr. Bear, you seem to be muted, my friend.
That was totally intentional. I totally did not forget to click mute. Praise of 2020.
The phrase of 2020.
Yes. Hey everyone, thank you for
Hello.
tuning in. Corgi, how are you doing today?
I am caffeinated, therefore I am happy. How are you?
Yes. Well, got my 1 liter of coffee right here. Been chugging it all day. Well,
Yes.
anytime you have to get up before 3 p.m. is always quite a bit of a challenge for night owls.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Night owls. Or night bear, night
Night bear, night
corgi.
dog, yeah.
Either way is fine, whichever you prefer using.
Yes.
Great.
So for everyone watching, like Corgi and I have actually been collaborating on a lot of things recently. Corgi and I have been running character creation tutorials specifically for newbies. Because what a lot of people seem to forget is that 100% of D&D players were a newbie at one point. And 100% of the people have been scared of taking on this new kind of challenge, this new kind of game, and we want to help integrate people into the D&D community. Isn't that right, Corey?
Yes, definitely. I've encountered a lot of newbies in my time, and many of them have expressed being scared of trying the game for the first time because of numerous reasons, which we will talk about today. And I too, when I was new, I also had my fears. Or even before I got started, I had the fear. That's why I never got to try it until much, much later in life. So that I'm looking forward to hearing what people say about it today, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Yes, and we're streaming on a lot of different platforms on Facebook, on YouTube, and such. So we have a few friends streaming on Discord as well. So
Thank
if
you
you're
so
on
much.
Facebook or YouTube, anytime you hit in the comment section, the amazing people at Dudes and Dice have found a way so that we can see it right away. So if you have any questions, comments, violent reactions, go ahead and type it down. We'll address it as soon as we can.
Yes, definitely. For sure, for sure. If we're unable to address it immediately, stay tuned because there will be a Q&A section and we will try to get to as many questions as possible.
We got a few people already going woot woot. Thank you, Pao, and thank you,
Thank you so
Raymond.
much for the support, Pao, Raymond, Trisha, Rin. So much. Thank you so much. Much
Yes.
appreciated.
So, Parky, I think we can start off. I think we can start off with talking about what it's like being a new player. Oh,
Mhm.
all everyone was a new player at one point. How did you get started?
Origin story time. Oh, sure. All right. So, I've learned about D&D. I don't exactly remember how because the earliest memory of it that I can remember involves Dexter's laboratory. And I remember that episode where they were playing monsters and mazes, and Dexter was the DM, etc., etc. Then after that episode, I got really interested. I don't know how, but I heard that there's a real life version of it called Dungeons and Dragons, and I've been interested in it ever since. Many years later, I got to try it for the first time. I've had my reservations in trying it because rules complexity, finding people to play with, because like many newbies, I'm pretty sure I had trouble looking for groups to join, people to show me the way other than just reading it, because trying it is better than just reading it from the book, yeah.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
because of a friendly community that introduced me to the game, I got started. So one day, like a few years ago, they adjusted their schedules so that they could accommodate me. And because they were really nice about it, I figured, okay, they're already making so much effort. It's only right that I do the same. Uh, and well, now I'm here.
Yeah, and you've been amazing in the community like especially like in the past year. Like
Thank you so much. Yeah,
you know,
likewise.
I remember we first met because like you and I never met in person before.
No, we
Actually,
have not.
this is my first time seeing what you look like. Well, aside from the
Well,
last show you did.
aside from the last show, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Hmm.
So like I
So,
just remember like seeing your
much.
posts
I
online.
apologize for disappointing. I don't look like this, but you know,
Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people thought that there was a corgi like typing on the keyboard. So
yeah,
but-
yeah. A lot of them thought I had to like apologize for not looking like this. Thank you so much to Jace, by the
Oh
way.
my god. Yes, totally not a plug, but like Corgi got her amazing Corgi dice bag. Can you show off how amazing it looks? Because like I'm such a big fan of Alder Scavenger.
This is Stefan. He is my corgi mascot. He is the Corgi Familiar. I am the person, the human behind it. This is the corgi in front of it. So he's got a bow tie, and the dice come in his butt.
It's Corgi Bun. When I saw that, I was like, shut up and take my money. I gotta get me some of that. So, the first thing I commissioned is my mascot. This is my mount, my trusty mount. His name is Pan Pan. And thing is, my characters are always bear themed. So, my character has a pet panda that's in an elephant costume. So look at that. That elephant costume is like right here. And it's an amazing dice bag as well.
Ooh.
Then afterwards, I just had to get one for my main character. So they are a set now.
They are set. It's amazing.
It's,
Ooh, I look forward to adding more.
yeah,
Maybe
so-
when I finalize the appearance of a certain goblin character of mine, maybe I can have him brought to life too.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, one thing I really love is this is my first character. Kuma over here is my very first character, very close to my heart. I remember wanting to get into D&D since I was in high school actually. Like my brother introduced me to D&D. I think it was 3.5 and I was just so into it. The whole, even though like it was a strange game for me because like everything takes place in your imagination, but I love the narration, I love the teamwork aspect. But sadly, that was the one game, and back in those days, Facebook was not as powerful right now.
Mm-hmm,
Like the concept of like just meeting up with strangers to play D&D was not a thing. Ooh, yes.
No.
But
No.
thankfully, in 2016, the D&D community started to band together. We saw the rise of different Facebook groups. Like, hey guys, we're gonna be meeting in Starbucks. Who wants to join us? Newbies, come on, we'll teach you how to play.
Or there would be, "Hi, I'm new to the game. I would like to learn how to play for the very first time." Then someone replies,
Yeah,
"Oh, where are you based?" "Oh, I'm based in Manila, Makati, Mandaluyong, BGC, Quezon City,
yeah,
Fairview." And then they'd be like, "Hey, DMs, tags, insert names here in the comment
yeah,
section," and they'll be like, we found someone for you." And then the DMs or whoever from the community will be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, if no, if it's okay, we'll add you to the voice to the messenger group chat, and then we'll talk about it over there." And that's where it all starts.
yes.
That's where it all began. I mean, before Miss Rona, you know,
Yes, yes, yes,
before Miss
yes.
Rona.
But
uh,
yeah, now we have Discord communities, like
oh
really
yeah,
people who never talked to each other before, don't know what they look like, don't know what they sound like, and then hopping
yeah,
onto a game for the very first time. And more often than not, I would say like 99% of the time, the new players walk out with new friends, like never met
yeah.
before. But when
Never
your
met before.
character's life is in danger, and another person selflessly runs in and protects you. Even though it's just a game, you feel that that's your character. You saved my character, I owe you my life. And then that's how bonds are
Ah,
started.
that's how everything begins. Sir Paul, hello. He says, "Hey DM, we found you a victim." Yeah, yeah, that's usually the joke. And then the players will be like, "Oh my god, it's so scary!" And then the DMs will be like, "Actually, no, they're much nicer. We just wanted to mess with you a little bit. You know, yeah, have fun with it. It is a very very good time."
Yes.
Ah,
I always there were a few
ooh,
times like one of our good friends, the Dragon Queen. I mean, the second you hear the name Dragon Queen is your DM, you're gonna get scared. But she was
you're gonna be like,
co-DMing this one time. Her
"Mm-hmm,
boyfriend's DM name is Lich King.
Lich King."
So imagine
Yeah.
playing under Dragon Queen and Lich King. These were new players playing on their table. They were like, DM, are they nice? They seem scary. I was like, don't worry, these two are very nice. They're gonna smile at you when they kill your character.
Yeah, and when the game is done, they're a fun bunch to talk to. You know,
Yes.
sending memes, sending jokes.
But
But what happens in game that doesn't necessarily reflect how they feel about you as a human being. And
absolutely.
so there's a lot of work around we gotta do when it comes to trying to connect with one another online, offline. Speaking of connecting, hello DMs. Do you think the next gen of D&D players will be using VR as a platform? Oh,
Oh hell
what you
yeah!
think? What you think?
You know, when I used to run like a lot of IRL games. This is how
Hmm.
I got started. I used
Same.
to play over in this one Starbucks branch in Makati, 6750. I used to go there a lot.
Yeah.
And well, taking a grab all the way from Malate to 6750 every day gets pretty pricey. I mean, like, and of course, it's not just transport. Like, I want to buy a drink as well.
Hmm.
Want to support the branch. So it
Definitely.
racked up the bills like crazy. And
Definitely.
then I found a coffee bean right behind my house, and I used my IRL persuasion checks to convince the managers to give us the function room for free. As long as we purchase, of course. But you know, it's
As
like
long as you purchase, of course.
it
Speaking
is
of
like money.
Speaking of IRL places, the very first time I played, it was in a game shop near Congressional. I can't believe I don't remember the name. But after that, most of the games that I would join would take place in, shout out to AL Quezon City in Katipunan McDonald's. We dubbed McDungeon. And
Mhm.
so many memories over there. Soon after, a lot of our games started taking place in Coffee Bean in UP Techno Hub along Commonwealth Avenue, and that became one of my favorite places to be. Especially after they renovated, they added long tables near the front.
Yes.
I had to check. I rolled dice on it. It made the best sound ever, and it rolled beautifully. And I'm like,
The ASMR.
Then shortly after that, a very good friend of ours, Christian, found made some connections, and we started playing IRL games in the Attack Arena along Congressional Avenue, and just ideal for gaming. The tables could be arranged. There are not just D&D, other board games and tabletop RPGs you can play there. You could rearrange the furniture. You could meet with a lot of people. You can order food. You can order food.
Yes.
It's amazing, and the food's good. The people are good. The games are heckin' good. Yeah, it's so nice to
It's
reminisce
funny
playing
that you
IRL.
mentioned that.
Definitely.
Like, because I work for Tabletop Lounge. It's this new place in Parañaque. We're gonna open soon once it's a lot safer. Right now we're doing online events. I'll plug their next event later on.
Mm-mm.
But we did a survey when we were still setting up shop. The place is already open. It's already built. We're just waiting to open. And on our survey, the most important thing for D&D players are tables, comfy tables. Second, comfy chairs. Third, aircon. Fourth, Wi-Fi. So,
Really,
okay,
Wi-Fi is the
that's it.
fourth.
Yeah,
Wi-Fi is
because
the
actually, going back to our previous question, do you think people are going to go to transition to online? I would say yeah, because right now, like people use D&D Beyond, people use Fight Club,
Discord.
all of these apps, Discord, yes, and even back in IRL gaming, people would always use those for their character sheets. So people are getting more tech savvy when it comes to D&D. It's not those dark ages where you had to like get a sheet of paper and then like use a pencil and then erase. Or yeah, I know I've seen your
the feel.
binder.
I
I've seen
do
your
love I
binder.
do love the feel of classic, because
Mhm,
paper,
yes.
pencil, it's so vintage. It feels good, and I'm trying to imagine what it's like VR. Sorry to tangent over there, Andre, but VR. So you have this on, and you can see your other people's characters, or at least their tokens representing each of them, and then I don't know. It's just it sounds like an amazing thing. If the technology advances far enough and it becomes accessible to everyone, regardless of where you are, how strong your internet is, it sounds like a very very fun time.
There are
And
steps forward.
yeah.
Isn't there like Tailspire that's becoming a thing now? I know
Oh
there's a
yeah, it is
small
becoming a
Tailspire
thing.
community.
It is becoming a thing. It is becoming a thing. I've seen the photos. They look amazing from
Mhm.
Nell in Facebook. Speaking
Yeah.
of people to say hello Richie. I hope things are going well with you too.
Mhm.
Uh, and a lot of yes, a lot of people wishing to play IRL. Yeah, definitely. The closest to IRL that I'm doing is when I'm running games, and then there are newbies in there, so
Oh
that I
my
don't
god,
so that I don't scare them too
yes.
much. I'll roll my dice behind the screen, and then I can easily, if I need to, not saying I am fudging my dice rolls.
Oh, DMs
Uh,
never fudge their dice rolls. What are you talking about? Right?
why,
Don't
why,
fudge
why would
dice
I? Why
rolls.
would I fudge my dice
Yeah,
rolls? Oh,
totally.
hello. Hi, Cal. Uh, for hashtag furry power, kidding aside, thank you so much, Matic.
Yes, furry power.
It's time to bring out the disclaimer. It's time to bring out the
Yes, yes,
disclaimer.
yes. When Corgi and I have collab for quite some time, and the first thing we said was like, "Oh, it's gonna be so cute. We're gonna do a character creation tutorial with Mr.Bear and the Corgi Familiar." After a while, we realized, oh, they're gonna think we're furries. I mean, I love the furry community.
They're
Sadly,
adorable.
that's just not my. It's just not my thing. But I love furry people, just not
I love
furries in
them.
particular.
They're a fun
Yeah, the
bunch.
best
They're a fun
characters.
bunch.
Mhm. But I think we have a lot of people that are interested to see about to reminisce about what's like be a new player, the things that they felt. Corgi and I have done a lot of character creation tutorials. I think collectively we've taught almost 200 people at this point.
I lost count.
Yeah.
I lost count ever since I started counting in 2019. Like
Oh my god,
I
yes.
stopped
It's hard
counting.
to count. somewhere around that number. It's up there. So,
I appreciate I appreciate as well that people make the effort to say hi. I hope to learn. Is it okay if you teach me? That's it's. They take the first step. I mean, we post, we make the offer, but it's essentially they make the step to say,
mhm.
"Hi, I would like to ask for assistance regarding this." Speaking of people who step up and ask for assistance, hello, Hector.
Hector, what's up, man? One of my most recent students in the D&D Academy. So I also run a D&D Academy on my server. Corgi has been so supportive of that ever since. Like she's she's really taking care of a lot of people, and it's just such an amazing feeling. Somebody teaching somebody like, okay, this is what you do as your action. This is what you do as a bonus action, and then you fight side by side with them at later levels. You play on their tables. It's the best feeling.
You know what's better than that?
Oh yeah.
They DM for you.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Oh my god.
uh,
I was so surprised with Hector's game. First time I played under him, he was like pretty nervous. He ran a tier 2 game. And I was like, what did you have to be nervous about? That was like one of the best versions of that game that I ever played. I was so proud of him. Big Hexel fan.
it seems like only yesterday I was convincing you to make a grave cleric,
Yes, I
and now
remember that day. Yes, Corgi and I were on stream. We were doing character creation tutorial. Then he comes in, and then like Corgi's ears, like that hypersensitivity thing of Corgi's, like boom,
like
great
like
cleric, great cleric.
newbie, cleric. Yes. Oh, sorry, this one that I get. Cleric.
But
Ooh.
sadly, Corgi, while there are a lot of people who come into TTRPGs, try to make the step, surprisingly, there are a large number of people who don't want, who are scared going in of taking that first step. It
Mm,
all sounds in like, yeah, it sounds interesting. I've seen it in Stranger Things. I've seen it in Community. I've seen it in Big Bang Theory. What
mm.
what's stopping them from approaching and finding a community? I think that's something
Uh,
that we can answer today, right?
a lot. As a matter of fact, would you like to take this first one? A question from Rin Thistle.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm a college student, but newbie I am not. What can you say to people who are discouraged to play D&D because of workload and time management?
Actually, I love that question
Go
because
ahead, Mr. Bear.
one thing I learned with the various number of people in D&D, I mean, D&D has been exceptionally popular for these past few years. And because there are a lot of people playing it, there are a lot of people that have different schedules, different time commitments. There are people who are so crazy that they'll play like 4 games in a day. That was Corgi and I a few days ago. But those happen. But there are also people who casually play. Like they'll play it like from time to time. They really love the game, but their workload doesn't permit. There's some people that can only play at like 7 a.m. There's some people who can only play at 4 a.m. My answer to that is just join groups because no matter how unreasonable your schedule is, there are always people that have the same unreasonable schedule, who have the same love for the game, and who will happily play with you. Like when people find people that play at like 2 p.m., which is people are still asleep at that time because hashtag millennial. They really band together. They turn into a regular thing. Wouldn't you agree, Corky?
Well, discouraged to play D&D because of workload and time management. Firstly, just remember that while D&D is great, while the fun of playing a game is great, do not forget that IRL things matter. Your health matters because
Yes,
if you're not feeling it, you don't have to force yourself to play a game just to play a game, because people I've heard a lot of people say this. No D&D is better than bad D&D, and
yes.
not just that. No D&D is better than bad health because of D&D. So with a difficult schedule due to workload, time management, do not neglect your health. It's gonna take a lot of work. It's gonna take a lot of work. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. But if you really feel that playing the game is gonna be definitely worth it, that you're really looking forward to playing this session with your friends and your party members, uh, you'll and they're very much willing to work with you to make a schedule, then when you do get the chance to play, make the most out of it. Enjoy it as much as you can. Savor it, because it feels really really great when you play a really really good session, and it sticks with you. You don't forget that stories I've heard, that one time where a support character defeated a monster with a dagger, that
Mundane dagger,
or
not even
with
magical.
with a non-magical dagger, and also the funny moments where oh sure, I'm gonna body slam this thing, I'm gonna grapple it, and then I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna choke slam it like a WWE superstar. Those things stick with you, and because you're making a lot of effort to actually play those, they're few and far in between. You get to remember those even more. So you get to hold on to those and use that as motivation to continue working at it, to continue doing your work, managing your time, because you're looking forward to the next session. I am not saying that you will always, depending on your schedule, have time for games, because not everyone has the same schedule. But when you do get to play, make the most of it, have the most fun, and hopefully that will stick with you and motivate you to continue at it until you play the next session.
In the end,
Hopefully that
it is a
answers your
hobby.
question.
It is a hobby. You gotta enjoy it. Well,
Yeah.
otherwise, if you're not enjoying it, you're not doing it right.
If you're not enjoying
But
it,
in
you're not doing it right.
addition, any kind of hobby, any kind of interest is always dangerous if you go too far. It can anything too in accession can be dangerous.
Of
So
course.
take care of yourself first, of course.
Yeah, your health is important. Your health is important.
All right.
Do
So
not do not be like me. Do not be like Mr. Bear.
oh my god, yeah. We have like levels of insanity where I remember we just came out of a tier 4 game, I believe. 5 minutes later, we were like, let's do another tier 4. Come on, let's go. And then just a few days ago, we it was like we were on our offs. I don't think we had any games scheduled that day. And then a player was like, "Hey, I have this character concept. I really wanna play a mod with this kind of thing." And Corgi was like, "Tara, tier 1." Then
Tier 1.
moments after that,
Tara, tier
one
1.
of the players,
It won't go over 2 hours. I promise.
yeah, didn't go over 2 hours. It was
It
like
did not,
exact
it did
2
not.
hours. Yeah.
By
No.
the time it reached 2 hours, I was already sending the rewards.
Yes. Now the thing is, the game didn't last 2 hours, but one of the players said, "Hey guys, I'm still awake. It's 2 a.m. But do you want to play a tier 2?" Yes. So, of course, we don't have a problem. We don't have a problem. Oh,
We don't have a problem.
Oh, totally.
It sounds like a you problem, not an us
Yeah,
problem.
totally. Yeah, exactly.
I love
But
our
yeah.
tangents. I love our tangents.
Yeah, of course.
Although,
of course. Yeah.
shall we begin with our series of
Absolutely.
discussions?
Yes,
Mr. Bear?
yes. We got a lot of the most common fears that people had when they started out playing D&D. We had a lot of new players express these things. One of the first things we always ask is, "What got you into D&D?" And then they usually talk about how hard it was to get started. We're gonna address those today.
Well,
So,
first and foremost, when we're talking about people who want to try to get into the game, let's talk about what's stopping them from getting into the game, or rather trying to get into the game. Yeah. First of all, we get a lot of people saying like, I also felt this before, by the way, to an extent. I don't feel comfortable getting started because I don't know anything about the game or the decades worth of lore that have been
boy.
that have been there since before you and I were born. My goodness.
Oh my god, this is actually one of the biggest hurdles because tendency is there will be time from time to time you'll see a newbie online that will say, "I'm new to the game. How do I get started?" And then somebody says, "Read the PHP, read the manual, read the player guide," and
Which is good.
it's
However,
good if you read it. That's great, but that's why Corgi and I do these character creation tutorials because. Come on, the player's handbook is like 300 pages. Nobody even reads the terms of agreement on their Apple product. So
I believe it's about 360 something.
yeah, so and it's unreasonable for a new player to read a whole book before playing. So what Corgi and I do during character creation tutorials, usually we're just like, okay, forget about the classes, forget about the build you have in mind. Focus only on what's your playstyle. What do you want to do in combat? Do you have a backstory in mind? And that's usually how we help you flesh out the character.
Or do you have a favorite anime character that you want to turn
Yes.
into a D&D character?
Exactly.
And for those who really want like a specific rundown of how the game works, I do offer the long running tutorial that lasts, I wouldn't say 3 days, but I would say three sessions spanning on 3 different days. First one is I introduce the game, the rules, the mechanics. Like I'll try to keep it as brief as possible, but I usually save it for those who really really want to learn, because some people like learning that way before playing. Some people like to learn as they go. So it really depends on the person, depends on the learning style.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. And the next, after I give the rundown of the rules and everything, I introduce the game. I give a brief history about it. Next is the actual character creation tutorial, the character creation session, where we'll be like, okay, this is based on what we talked about the other day. Do you have something in mind? Do you have someone in mind that you want to turn into a D&D character? And then on the third day, that is when I actually run a newbie game for them. It could be a mini adventure. It could be actually just a 30-minute scenario where it's not really a game, but it's a demonstration, or they get to actually try it. Like, oh yeah, do dice rolls, use your character sheet, familiarize yourself with how it looks, and it's some people do like it that way. When I was new, I knew, similar to that, to those newbies who know nothing about the lore. I know nothing about the lore. I'm not well read. I'm not well versed, but I'm familiar enough with the mechanics, and then the lore can come afterwards once I don't need to worry about learning the mechanics. And that's what I carry with me when I'm teaching the newbies. Like, yeah, the lore will come along when you start playing, when you're not worrying about, am I doing this right? And then when you're free to like read the books, well, in your free time,
Go ahead. Yeah.
hear about it from those who know it, hear about it from those who have been collecting the books before you were born.
Yeah, exactly. But there are different ways to learn the game. Like there are some people that want to learn it text by text, page by page. That's totally fine. But I've had a lot of people in my cavern dwellers, who have never read the PHP, never read the DMG, never read even the ALFAQ, but they're still decent players because they learn while playing.
Yeah.
And
Learning
that's,
styles.
yes, so
That's it's like a real life thing where everyone has a different learning styles: auditory learning, kinetic learning, visual learning, whatever. There's so many, but it certainly applies here because you're learning something different, which is, well, it's D&D, but you're still learning something. And
Yes.
some people prefer to learn by experience. Some people prefer to learn before experiencing it. It's just a matter of finding out what works best for you.
exactly.
That's what we're
I
here to
think,
find out.
Yes, exactly. I think Corgi and I always follow the same philosophy that the best way to learn how to play D&D is to just play D&D. Doesn't matter if you don't know how to play. Learn about it later. Like, of course, prep your character beforehand, and then work with somebody who knows how. But in the end, D&D is something that you start at level 1. And level 1 is all about the basic mechanics. What do you do with your action, bonus action, movement? How do you use your most basic class feature? And it starts out very simple, unless you're a wizard or artificer. That's a completely different story. But you start off with the very basic things. And as you level up, you learn more about the game. So
you grow side by side with your character, and that's great. You feel the closeness. You feel attached. You feel attached. I don't know. It's I don't. It's just a me preference thing. It's just a me preference thing. But I like seeing say you're a newbie, and then I say you don't need to memorize the rules. That's my job. Let me worry about it. That's what your party members are here to help you with. All I'm gonna ask from you is to um, connect with your character. Give yourself a reason to want to play them. Give yourself a reason to want to try learning more about them, who they are, what they can do, and then we'll take care of the rest. Uh, speaking of, it takes time to learn the game, but playing while learning is good too. Presentations and card systems help to bite the large chunks.
absolutely. Yeah,
Definitely.
like knowing about your character, knowing about the rules will help out the DM sometimes because the DMs, they there's a lot of rules that are up to DM interpretation, and not all DMs memorize the book cover to cover. So there might be
Oh yeah.
mistakes. You can always say, if you know your rules, you can always say, DM, just a clarification. Isn't the rule this one? Usually the DM's very understandable. Like, oh yeah, okay, go ahead, go ahead. Totally
Yeah,
fine, no
and
problem.
like what DM Watson, aka Trish, said, playing by experience is the best since you play with others.
Exactly. Oh, actually, I got a
And
fun story for Leah. Um, one of our regular players is an amazing puzzle solver. And puzzles are something that's the real BBEG because it's your actual puzzle solving skills. And we're at a tier 4 game. We're high pressure. There's a big puzzle. She solves this. She solves it like a zap, 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 zap. Immediately, she solves it for the puzzle for the team. Now,
brain go brr if
yeah,
we're yeah.
the
Yes.
first puzzle I ever gave her, she was a player on my very first table. Oh, sorry, I was her very first DM. She comes across a temple, and she looks over it and says, "I would like to push the door open." I'm like, I tell her, "It doesn't open." She's like, "Huh? Okay. Can I check for traps?" There are no traps. Can my ally use divine sense? There's no celestial speed or undead. Can we detect magic? There's no magic. Finally, she says, "Can I roll investigation?" I said, "All right, roll it." She rolls a 14, pretty high number. And then and she asks, "What do I see?" You see a sign that says "pull."
That
Very
that's
first
that's
one.
why that's what stories like that are the reasons why when I thoroughly investigate things, I try to push, pull, slide left, slide right, slide up, slide down, slide slant, 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 slant. Does it work? Yes.
And again, this is something that happened over a year ago. We're still talking about it today because it's so funny.
It's still funny. It's still funny.
Exactly.
Speaking of, you were talking about different mechanics, yeah, like rolling for whatnot. I see
Yeah.
a question from
Oh.
Andre. Hello, DMs. Are rules greater than player enjoyment? What's your opinions on ruling and by the book DMing? Go ahead, Mr. Bear.
All right. Well, in like for well, it really depends on the game, on the type of game you're playing. There are a lot of tabletop RPGs that are very rules heavy. D&D can be one of them. Like Corgi and I mainly run Adventures League games where we're encouraged to be by the book and encouraged to run things wrong. But it does say that we are empowered to make decisions. Part of being a DM is knowing when to follow the rules and when to kind of bend it to a reasonable extent.
To a reasonable extent.
Yeah, like if I know that my party's not enjoying, the D&D is supposed to be fun. So if I know they're not enjoying, why will I? Why will I? Why will I put them through that kind of torment?
Well,
Right.
definitely.
Like there are times actually on both our tables. A lot of times we play on each other's tables. They ask, "I know this isn't on the book, but can I do this?" And more often than not, we say things like, "It's funny, yeah, go for it," or "It sounds awesome, go for it. I want to see that."
Or sometimes I say, I like this idea, but it's a little bit and then I try to look for something in the rules to try to get what they want to do to work. So technically, we're
Yes.
still by the book and using and prioritizing also player enjoyment, and
Mhm.
that it's a
Yes.
win-win. So that
Yeah.
okay, I'm not going over the bounds of what the book says, but at the same
Mhm.
time, I'm letting my player have their moment. I'm
Yes.
letting them say, "Oh my God, it's actually possible to do this, despite what the rules says, because the rules say you can do this." So
Mhm.
it's like you're making the rules work for you, or for
Mhm.
them, for the enjoyment of the players. And to quote Barbosa, they're kind of more like guidelines than actual rules. You know?
So
So
yeah.
with the ruling by the book DMing, yeah, sure, adventurously. You're encouraged to run it raw, so raw is rules as written, with some occasional wry rules as intended. As long as what's the how do we do this? As long as it doesn't bog down the game too much. I like hearing the excitement in my player's voice. That's why when they want to do something cool, when they want to do something ridiculous, I try to find a way to make sure to what's the word
Mhm.
compromise the rules with the shenanigans that they try to do, and when rules and shenanigans combined, that's even better because you
Mhm.
balance those two, balance as all things should be. And in the end, you're playing the game to have fun,
Oh,
not to follow a book that has a list of things you can and can't do.
I have another story involving that. So I'll give you what happened. This is when the DM ran it as as intended or rules as funny. I'll show you how different it was from if she ran it raw. And again, this is one of my very first students. Shout out the DM Spring on this. Very first game I played on her table. We had to convince this one NPC to come with us, but he is so stubborn. Mainly because we came to his house and he was in a fight with a unicorn. We managed to stray the unicorn away. But this NPC absolutely was so adamant, did not want to leave his house. We had to evacuate the place. He did not want to leave. And he slammed the door in our face. People were thinking, all right, maybe we should kick down the door. It's for his own good. No, 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 that's not lawful. We shouldn't do that. I was like, DM, can I peek through the get through the person's window? She was like, yeah, sure, why not? Can I see a small dot, at least a small area of his living room? She's like, sure. DM, I would like to cast fog cloud. So fog sprouts everywhere inside the room. He can't see a thing. And then DM, I would like to cast a spell called Minor Illusion that lets me make unicorn noises. And then I say, oh no, the unicorn's coming! Run! Get out! Get out! Get out! It's in the house! We had to stop playing for 2 minutes because we were just laughing like crazy. So that is a very memorable moment. Again, it happened over a year ago. We're still talking about it today because it's so hilarious.
Yeah, and
But
the thing
yeah, go ahead.
is, you were following
It was.
what it says in the book. You were
Yeah,
following it.
exactly.
You were following it, and yet you managed to do your shenanigans. So
Exactly.
it's not shenanigans versus what the
Mhm.
book says. It's about finding that middle ground where
Yeah,
the
exactly.
book the if we have to go by the book, then let's find a way to make the book and the rules work for us in our favor for
Exactly.
maximum
Yes.
enjoyment.
Because if we
Because
were running it as written, what would
yeah,
happen is if I casted Fog Cloud, she would say, all right, roll initiative. And then I cast Fog Cloud, and then she decide what the NPC would do, and then I would have to cast Minor Illusion, and then the NPC would get to do something, and then I would have to roll for Deception to see if I can convince him that there's really a unicorn inside. So you can imagine how different it would be if she ran it
yeah,
exactly as written. There
yeah.
are times when you meet the middle ground, like what Corgi said.
Yeah, and sometimes if the players role play and come up with creative enough solutions, why would you require a role?
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's what I believe. If they do it really well, they burn the right resource or enough resource. They say the right words, especially considering, oh, this is what the NPC thinks, and then the player says something like, oh, and then
Mm-hmm.
why would I risk a success when it really is in their favor? Why would I even require a dice roll?
Yeah, exactly. Technically, as Raw, we have to roll dice all the time whenever someone makes a persuasion or makes a deception.
Yeah,
But If they make such an amazing case, why would you still
Yeah,
ask
why
them
would you
roll for
require
it?
a dice roll? Because there's always the chance for rolling. You say, oh sure, you have advantage. You roll a 1, and you roll another 1. And then it kind of like ruins the moment. Like, but that was so good. And why? And then the only reason why it wasn't a success is because of the 2 1s on the dice. Like that doesn't really seem fair. In it doesn't really seem fair because the player made such an effort already, and I like rewarding them for their hard work, for
Yes.
overcoming the challenges that I place in front of them, especially in ways that I did not think were possible.
Yes.
You know?
And I love how that has that has kind of become a constant right now in the D&D community. Most DMs will really be willing, of course they will follow the rules, because if they just allow any kind of wild shenanigan, it's not D&D anymore. They will find it in the rules, but they will make sure that they use the rules as a way for the players to enjoy. I love how a lot of the communities right now, like Dudes and Dice, like Players Helping Players, they're really involved in making sure the top priority is always the players need to have fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, D&D is a game, right? I mean, it's not called Squid Game. It's called Dungeons and Dragons. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be enjoyed. It's a hobby, something that you do because you like it. You know? Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah,
I love this tangent. I love this tangent.
oh yeah, we tangented again.
Yeah.
This
We tangent
is
all
how
the
Corgi and
time.
I always talk. By the way, we usually go on voice chat in the Cavern all the time, or sometimes on Players Helping Players. And this is really how we talk. There's so many tangents, but
Yeah.
to
so
stay
many
on chat, I
tangents.
believe we have another talking point.
We do. And it's really great because we're doing a stream, yeah? This is all happening online. And because of Miss Rona, we have to. So another issue that people face when they're playing D&D or trying to get into the game but can't, it's mostly online now. And they're low
Yes.
tech. Ooh, this is a challenging one.
Yeah,
Do you want to take it?
is.
Or
Oh yeah. Well, I can relate to that. I am not high tech at all. Like I think I got my millennial card revoked when somebody asked me like, what kind of computer do you have? I'm like, a black one. MSI. What RAM? What's RAM?
laptop?
Laptop. Yeah.
What kind of
But
rig? What kind of rig do you use?
it's
What
okay.
graphics card do you have? What kind of cooling fan do you use? Oh my god!
when I was an IRL DM and player for such a longest time, I lived right behind the place I would regularly play. And then when I couldn't get my D&D fix because of what happened, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna wait till the pandemic is over before I play D&D again. Well, 1 month later,
Well,
1 month later, I was like, all right, you know what? I need my D&D fix. What is this Roll 20? Thankfully, veteran
Oh.
DMs were always there, and this is just what I love about the D&D community. They're always so supportive because when there are more players, there's more games, and where there's more games, there's more D&D. It's always a plus. So people taught me how to play how to play on Roll 20. It was a major learning curve, and it
oh,
was
I can imagine.
oh my god. But after a while, like I found online tools that would help. And it made it so much easier. And I think that's what we're showing like on our tutorials now. Like it's
Yeah.
not just how to play D&D. We also include
How
things
to
on like
play
this song.
online.
Yes.
And so yeah, for those who have trouble using the tech stuff, to be honest, if you do you have Messenger? Do you have a set of earphones?
Mhm.
Do you have pencil, paper? Do you have a device that you can use to roll digital dice?
Mhm.
If you don't have IRL dice, which you can purchase for cheap at your local online shops, if you can just use it digital on your phone, and I think you're all set. That's
Yes.
that's pretty much all you need. So if you're talking to your friends on Zoom, Messenger, whatever, Google Meets, whatever, and that's pretty much all you need. I mean,
One-
not everyone has access to fast enough internet, it is indeed a privilege. It is indeed a privilege for a lot of us to have a decent enough internet connection.
Yes.
That's why it's one of the compromises that we make in these times, because safety is important. Safety is
Absolutely.
important. And again, no D&D is better than bad D&D. Also, no D&D is better than IRL D&D with the risk of getting sick.
Yes, absolutely.
Because paying for a decent internet connection is cheaper than hospital bills for if worse comes to worse. I should know.
Exactly.
I have a fundraiser dedicated to helping something like that.
Yes. But you know what?
Speaking, yeah.
One thing I learned is that if there's a common problem, there is a common solution. So when I was new in the online D&D community, I thought that it's like, all right, if you don't have fast internet, good luck. But then I started to see more and more different kinds of D&D. Like on Dudes and Dice, they're pretty active with their play by post games. So you
Oh
don't even need to
yeah.
chat. You type
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Wow, it's
Yeah.
cool.
If you have a place where you can chat, send messages, you can also run that kind of D&D, text based. It doesn't even have to
Yes.
be. It doesn't even have to be. You text for like 4 hours. You can just say, okay, at least one update per day, and that can be your D&D campaign.
Yeah, it's like a
And
long like
there is a
Dragon.
lot of
Go ahead.
workaround. There's a lot of workaround for that. You were saying? Go on.
Yeah, like the DM Dragon Queen told me about this one play by post she got into. One game
Yeah.
took 2 weeks, but that's fine because people only had to type what they were saying. They had to log in like maybe twice a day, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like going back to another question earlier, what if you have an unreasonable work schedule? If there's a common problem, there's a common solution. Other people
Uh-huh.
don't other people don't have fast Wi-Fi
Yeah.
or even a computer.
Yeah.
So, like one of the best DMs in the Philippines, in my opinion, is of course DM Paul Gabat. His platform that he runs his games on is Owlbear Rodeo, which you can play on your phone, and he follows everything like follows he doesn't use online dice. He allows everyone to use the real dice. So hearing those amazing clickety clacks after so long is like
Click
ASMR.
clacks. I feel like I should get mine because they're over there. I will later. But
Oh wait,
oh,
speaking of dice,
speaking of
recommended
dice,
shops.
good
Wow,
transition. Good
perfect
transition.
transition.
I
Go
I
ahead, get
will
your
I
dice.
will you go do yours. You
Yes,
go do
I'll
your
do
answer.
mine
I
because
will get my click clacks. I will get my click clacks. Give me a
Corgi's click
second.
clacks are she has an amazing collection. So I'm gonna show mine because it's a lot less than hers. Go ahead, Corgs. So here
Oh,
are
you go
some
on,
of
go on.
my click clacks that I got. Very various click clacks over here. I got them from various merchants. Mainly, I got them um, from Daisuke, from Wild Magic Gaming Oddities and such. So like one thing, like when you're starting out to D&D, you always wanna get like you always wanna get dice. That's like the most basic thing. But even then, you can always just borrow dice. But tendency is you love to have custom dice that really call out to you. So I got a few ones. Like I got these nice I don't know what you call it, but you can kind of see through it. It's like pretty blue and all. And of course, gotta get my
Translucent.
Pride dice. Got them for Pride Month.
That's lovely.
And actually, like one of my groups of table regulars actually sent me a gift on like first few weeks of DMing with them. They sent me metal dice. Like
Oh,
metal dice.
that sounds amazing and terrifying.
Yes, but
So
my
recommended
favorite
dice
dice
shops.
shops.
Recommended dice shops. Recommended dice.
Daisuki or Daisuki. That's the people call
I
it different
would
names.
I would also say National 20 Gaming Goods, but I believe
Yes,
they have they had to they had they had to. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not gonna say it because I can't. I'm not well, I don't remember their updates, but yes, Wild Magic Gaming Oddities.
Oh
This is
my
what their
god,
logo
I
looks like.
love them.
This
Yeah.
is the OG box, and
I'm gonna get my merch too.
these are the click clacks. Barrel dice. They are irregularly shaped. This is the D100 percentile die. This is the D4. Look at that shine. This is the D12. D12 looks, it's barrel dice. You just gotta read the numbers. This here is the D6. Strangely enough, the D8, and then the D10, and of course the D20.
Oh my god, Pride
Uh,
Dice! Yeah.
they actually look like candy corn.
Jelly bean, actually. Yeah.
Jelly bean candy corn. Anyway, I got these at a raffle during one of our IRL events. It was great, and I won. It was great. I won in a raffle. I'm so happy. I mean, I could be here all day talking about
Oh my
these. But
Where's That's not even all your dice, right?
that's not even everything. This is just
Yes.
one of my boards.
While we're flexing our friends, I'm a big fan of Wild Magic Gaming Oddities. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. We just
Not
love,
sponsored.
We just love them. Not sponsored. I saw this amazing dice tower in Adventurers Anonymous' event last year.
Ooh,
Look at this dice
Is that-
tower.
is that from ano? Is that from a local
Wild
shop?
Magic. Wild Magic Gaming
Wild
Oddities.
Magic,
They
Wild
made
Magic,
this.
Wild
It's
Magic.
handcrafted. So not only is it an amazing dice tower, but it's also supporting local merchants. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, if this is less than 1,000 pesos, I'm gonna say shut up and take my money. And they were like, I think it was like 700. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna buy that. So it's a dice tower. It's compact. You can flip it like this, and you put in your dice, rolls
And
out.
then you roll it. Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
best feeling. Then also shout out to Daisuke. They gave me this amazing box that I wanted to give as a gift. So they got these dice over here, and of course, Daisuke also sold this really cute pride pin. It was for pride. It was
Oh, that's
for
lovely.
pride.
That's adorable. And of course, when you have, I like having dice because it means I get to keep them in my dice bag.
Yes.
Ah,
Mhm.
ah.
Yes. Or one of our
yeah,
favorite
yeah.
merchants, Owlbear
Such a tangent.
Scavenger.
Such a tangent. Such a tangent.
Yes. Not a sponsored
Yeah.
video. Not a sponsored video.
Not,
we just
not sponsored.
yes, not sponsored.
Not
We just love
sponsored.
them.
No.
Yeah.
I promise we're not sponsored. That would be amazing if we were. Well, speaking. Okay. Let's revert. Let's dial down. We will tangent about these again later on. That's why I have them next to me. I'm pretty
Yes,
sure we
from-
will.
From
So,
time to time, we'll be on our servers. If you see us online, just ask us to flex our merch. We'll happily do that.
Thank you, Andre, for tuning in.
Yeah, right.
And speaking of, we've got a question from Farrell. Good afternoon, DMs. I'm a very not so social person. I've accustomed to do's and dice community thanks to a friend, but I still feel heavy anxiety when joining new groups. How do you
That's
handle that?
amazing. That's
So
amazing.
First of all, good job on taking that first step in joining dudes and dice. The thing is, take it one group at a time. Do not feel the need to join all of them. Join them at your own pace when you're the most comfortable. When you're feeling brave, and you don't even have to engage immediately. Just be prepared for when say PHP players, helping players will greet you because because people say hi when you enter. They're very enthusiastic there. I am one of the people who says hello. And do not feel the need to socialize all the time. It doesn't seem like it, but I am an introvert. And after prolonged interaction with other human beings, I slink into the darkness and recover my social batteries. For a lot of people with social anxiety and similar, I am not a professional, but from how I've observed, from what I've observed as a DM, as someone who learned to engage with others, because how can I play D&D if I don't engage? Yeah. take it one step at a time. And what pacing do you follow? Your own. The pacing that makes you feel comfortable. You don't have to force yourself to engage with everybody. I know that you're very accustomed to the community already, thanks to your friend. And if you still feel the heavy anxiety when joining new groups, you don't have to join the new groups. Join when you're ready. Join when you're ready. Preferably, maybe when you have plenty of your friends from Dudes and Dice already there. Start off by playing with your Dudes and Dice friends in another group, but it's still your friends, just in another server. And take it baby step at a time. One baby step at a time. And sooner or later, you might find maybe one human being that you're okay with speaking to that is not from Dudes and Dice, and that's great. If once you at least have one person that you can talk to in that community, you're all good. As a matter of fact, one of my newbies, one of the newbies that I taught, I gave them a tutorial in my server, and then I said, "Okay, have you joined the other servers yet?" And they were like, no, because I'm a little shy. Like, oh, okay, it's okay. Let me wrap this metaphorical blanket around you and give you a hug. Here, the links are there. Join when you want. Join when you want. Join when you're ready. It doesn't have to be now. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. But do know when you feel it, when you need maybe some social support or something, just let me know. I will be there. I will want to be one of the people who greets you and tell them, guys, easy, take it easy. This person's a little shy, so don't scare them.
One other thing I love about how people respond to people with social anxiety or in game, there's so many safety tools right now, and it's become sort of the standard. Like on most servers, they have this X card system where if you feel uncomfortable, you type X chat. They skip over the narration as quickly as possible. Or if there are, like, of course, like one of the typical D&D archetypes is the edge lord. Some people take their edge lord to a new level and they play as a douchebag character. But these people, a lot of people who play douchebag characters, they're always like, they look over at this ally, like, you there, you cannot stand yourself, you cannot stand against me in battle. And then afterwards they say, by the way, that's just RP, I hope everything's good, it's RP, are you comfortable with that? Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's a great way to RP, because thing is, this day and age, people are more considerate people with social anxiety. Like, I have diagnosed anxiety, and D&D really helped me get more integrated with the community. And because everybody knows what it's like being a new player, and everyone can relate to being anxious to some extent. So when they become veteran players and they see somebody going through the same thing that they were, of course we're gonna take care of you. That's why Corgi and I love
you.
You
can
players.
relate, and the thing is, you might find people that you can relate to, like what Kai over here is saying. D&D can help. You just need to find the right community, and it's not always easy. It's not always easy to find, but when you do find it, you're gonna be happy that you did. You're gonna be grateful that you did. It doesn't have to be the first community that you find, but when you do, it's gonna be a great feeling. It's gonna be amazing. You're gonna find people that you will know for a very long time. And eventually you start talking to one another, not relating to the game, and you will actually realize, oh wait, did I just make friends?
Yeah, because we all go in just wanting to play. We don't expect to make friends. We don't necessarily expect to make friends at the end. But again, when your character's life is on the line, and another person saves you, you feel a bond, even though it was just in game, because it's a character that you kind of put your heart and soul into.
Oh yeah, and when you play with people who also feel that way for their characters, you'll realize, oh wait, we're similar, and then you realize a lot of people that you play with in your groups are also similar. Then, oh my god, is this a community? Is this the community that I'm in? And for a lot of new players, one of the first things I hear them say, I don't know where to get started.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where to begin. I want to, but I don't know where to begin, or rather, who to begin with. You know, that's why.
Yes.
That's why. Well, Mr. Bear, can you tell us about the academy?
Yeah, so one thing that I wanted to play D&D so bad, but I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't, like the concept of like just meeting up with strangers and playing D&D. It wasn't a thing back when well, it was a thing, but it was still pretty new. I was not aware of it. So I got a
Mm-hmm.
group of my friends. I scoured around looking for people to be a DM. I was like, is there such thing as a DM for hire? Because we'll happily pay a DM to run for us. And there are stories like that left and right. I remember with one of my other friends, like he really wanted to get into D&D. He and his friends went to this hobby shop. They wanted to learn how
Yeah.
the cashier said, "Oh, there's this group that really regularly plays." So they actually went there on the time that he usually plays. They sat on a table. They were at the far left side. They saw the guy come in. They were like, "Is that him? Is that him? Is that him? Should we talk to him? No, 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 no. It might be weird." So they just all kind of looked at him. And they were like, "D&D."
D&D,
And then
D&D, D&D.
that dungeon master who never met them before. Again, it's
Yeah.
like he was like, "Bling!" He was like, "Oh, you guys want to learn how to play? Come on, come here. I'll
The
show you how to play."
radar, the
Right there
radar,
and
the
then.
radar just pops up. The radar just pops up. You
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ran a game for
uh,
them that day. Showed them how to play.
yeah.
That's how so many people in the community work. When they see new players want to get started. I think
Hmm.
party a few days ago, like actually
Yeah.
a bunch of times. The best one was at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Oh God.
Remember that one guy, new person. We just helped him create a character, and he was so
Yes.
passionate about the game. He was like, "Oh my god, I really can't wait till our next game." And then, even though we couldn't see each other, Corgi and I, we kind of gave each other that look, like, you know what we're gonna do. You know what we're gonna
Like
do. All right,
like
guys. You're one.
literally like whoop, 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 whoop. And then we're like, and I was like, are you gonna say it? Are you gonna say the words?
All right.
Or do you want me to do
Tier
it?
one. 3 a.m. in the
Tada,
morning. Let's go.
Tada, one, tada, one. Yeah. And speaking of shy people, I have had groups who, despite some prompting on my end, like, my schedule is not always open. But if you join this server, you will find DMs whose schedules might be better suited to yours. And then,
Yes.
but they did tell me that no, it's okay. DM will adjust to yours, and I'm like, okay, fine. I see that they're not yet ready to integrate themselves into another community. They will continue playing amongst themselves as a party at first. Like, okay, that's fine. Uh, 3 sessions later, I see them joining the PHP server, and I'm like, hello there.
Oh my
Hi.
god.
Welcome to PHP. And I tell the DMs, these are my grandchildren. Take care of them.
Mhm.
When I say take care of them, I mean DM for them and scare the living bejesus out of them.
Give them a challenge.
Give
We're
them a
not
challenge.
as DMs. We like to joke about like, oh, your character's gonna die, but in
Aw.
reality, DMs don't
Nah.
all aren't out for blood. Like, if a DM
No, we
kills the
just
entire
like
party, it's a bad thing. But we
unless
wanna
unless
make
it's
that
a unless it's a glorious end, unless it's a
Yes.
glorious end with a good story and everyone's like, sure DM, I don't mind. I don't mind my
Yes.
character dying here.
Actually, just like yesterday or 2 days ago, wasn't there this one character who PM'd the DM and was like, DM, my ally doesn't really know how to RP, and we're in a relationship. Our characters are in a relationship. Can you kill my character? I think that's the first time I saw a player tell the DM, please kill my character for story purposes.
Ooh, sheesh.
That was
Another
outdated
story.
stuff.
Another story was it was just 20. It was 2020. A friend of mine said, "Oh hey, I'm running this hardcover chapter, or rather a hardcover, and and we have the space. Would you like to join? I said, sure, that sounds great. Do you have no? Do you want DM? Do you want me to be a certain character? Well, there's this person in the party who has a strange relationship with an NPC. Do you want to play the NPC, but you will become an actual PC? I'm like, oh hell yeah! And DM, I'm able to join. I'd like to plan my entrance into the game with you. Sure. So I'm gonna so DM, I'll be a spectator first for a bit, pretending to like just watch this happen. And when it's combat, I want you to focus fire on that specific party member. And then when the time is right, they'll hear my voice in their head saying, "Hey, I can save you. I just need you to agree to a spell that I'm or to a magical feature that I'm doing." And then the player who was there was like, wait, what? And then and they're like, and then Corgi hops in with this character, and then you do that, and it was just great. It was great. The player messaged me, "Did you plan this?" And I'm like, "Only in the past 24 hours. It wasn't a diabolical thing. It was just me and the DM, and I thought it would be fun and funny, and it was, for me at least."
Oh, actually, you know what? We just got a comment. Woo to the PHP server.
Woo!
You remember the origin stories of PHP?
I wasn't there when they began. I luckily just got an invite from one of their admins saying, "Hey, we have a server. You want in?" I'm like,
No,
sure.
but here's the thing. Like, they signed up for our character creation tutorial. Like, we were
Yeah,
doing
a
it in
lot of
tandem
them.
again. Two of them jump in. They created a character. And these were totally newbies. They never played D&D before. Maybe they've heard of it, but they've never played it.
Yes.
We ran games for them, and then they built us. They built a group of there were like 5 people in their group, and they started playing regularly with each other. And then they started their own community, players helping players. And I'm just like, I love that community so much.
And then
God.
they ran Not an Epic.
Not an Epic was amazing, yeah. And I'm proud to say that many of those people in Players Helping Players are new players. And I remember
A lot of them were our newbies too,
yeah.
which I really like.
One of them,
So
this is
much.
DM Tangi or Tanji, however you want to pronounce it. When he was new, he wanted to sign up for one of my games.
Yeah.
And he just missed the sign up. Like, he was one person down. One of the veteran players said, "Oh no, it's alright. I'll prioritize a newbie." It's actually something you do a lot frequently, right? Or actually, we do that a lot. Prioritize a newbie.
Yes.
And Tanji was so nervous at first. He was like, "What? Kakahiya naman. The new players, the veteran players got there first." And we were talking to him, and we were like, "No. This is how we do it here. Take care of the new players. When you become a veteran player, do the same. Pay it forward." And now he's an admin of the PHP server. He does the same thing, prioritizes the new players, engages the new players, and there are a lot of times where they're just like, "Guys, I think the new player deserves the last hit. Go kill that BBEG with a mundane dagger."
Something also that I do is who's the newbie, and then I'm like, I for some reason, when they get the hit, the enemy drops to 0. Or I want them to have their shining moment. When it's really good when you hear for the first time them saying, when you first tell them how do you want to do it, and then they describe it, and then everyone just collectively cheers. In character, out of character. And speaking of PHP, one of their admins, aka their artists as well,
Oh my God, Kevs, yes.
December 2020, I see a post of his in another server that I'm in. I won't read it word for word, but the first sentence in his post is, "Hi, I joined because I want to learn to play D&D." And then my ears just went, Hello there.
Hi.
New player. Hi. And that's when I helped him create a character named Windage. And then and now Windage is the what? Windage and Friends.
Yeah. This was one of my. This is the notorious 4 a.m. tier 4. Half the players just came from another tier 4, but
Oh my
again, we're
god.
insane. We ran it. Corgi's very first character fought side by side with Windage that game,
Mm.
and it sort of became Windage and friends because Windage, he's such a powerful player in a sense. Not just that he deals a lot of damage, but he really works as a team. Everyone was just like, don't touch our ADR. We're gonna protect him with our life. He takes a little bit of damage. I heal him. Somebody gets too close. No, 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 no. Get over here. Get away from my ADR.
Yep.
It was a glorious moment.
Oh yeah. It's amazing. I'll so to reiterate, for people who don't have a play group, it just you just need to start with one
Yes.
other person to play with, like just five of you or four of you. And you have Mr. Bear, you have me, and other DMs who are more than happy to
Yeah.
help you play the game for the very first time. And then eventually you'll be playing your 10th. You don't even realize it.
My
Eventually you lose
Oh
count.
my god. Yeah, like dang. One thing I can say for new players, here's a challenge for you. Go over to Dudes and Dice or go over to Players and Helping Players and type there, "Hi, I'm a newbie. How do I get started?" DMs are gonna be like, "Bring, bring, bring. Hey, wanna join
And
a
then
game? You need help with your build?"
all the Kolidars, the collective radars of the DMs and veteran players will be like, hello, newbie. Hi.
Yes. Because 100% of
The-
D&D players were newbies and we learned how
At
to
some
play
point.
because veterans helped us. And again, just pay it forward. You're a newbie now. Soon you'll be playing as a veteran. You'll encounter a newbie doing the exact same thing. Pay it forward and share the love.
Share the love. Share the love. Because there's already a lot of problems in the world. Just throw in some more love in there. You know, just to make it more livable. Yeah. Yes. And yeah, it's true that so if you've got all the love, the community, everything. Sometimes though newbies, they would feel the sense of overwhelm. So one of the reasons why they don't get into the game is because it's so overwhelming. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
agreed.
so overwhelming. It's so overwhelming.
Yeah, I think that brings us
they yeah.
I think that brings us to our next talking point about
Alright.
how it's so overwhelming, which is it can be true. Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah,
Corgi,
it
I
is.
think you have an exact list of the number of spells, classes, or races. I was just surprised. I was doing a tutorial one time, and you were like, "There are a total of X number of spells." I'm like, wait, you counted them, or something around those lines.
That's why you know that meme where someone is standing T-pose like that and then there is a sleeping child. That's kind of how I feel, except the things that are hitting me in the back are like rules, mechanics, yada 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 yada.
Mhm.
It's just really really funny. So I'm like, I'm just gonna tell you that okay, this look at your character, look at the things that they have, learn those, and then let the rest come along naturally. I'll tell you though that these exist. There are spells there, and they have their own mechanics that you need to take note of. If you want to try it out, that I will happily help you learn as much as you can about it, especially if you're bringing so maybe a wizard or someone who is really a full blown spellcaster with a lot of things that they can do. It is overwhelming. That's why okay. I tell them to take it one step at a time. I tell them to take it slow. You know, try not to overload yourself with all of that info, because there's just it's a lot. It's a lot.
I think like the general pattern we have, like when we do our character creation tutorials, is that the first question we ask isn't what's your race, what's your class, what's your build.
Yeah.
Usually we ask, how do you want to play? What is your play style? Wouldn't you agree, Corgi?
Yeah, I would say hi. Do you have a favorite anime? Do you have a
Yes.
favorite TV series? Do you have a favorite comic book hero or whatever? Yes, I do. It's this one. Okay. Do you want to make a character like that person? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I want that to be my first character. Then let's try to. So if we give something that they relate to and understand, they can make the process of understanding D&D much quicker, much easier. Because if they can connect something to something, people learn better. People learn easier. If you translate D&D into a language that they understand, then they'll be able to understand it better. Uh, I don't know that much, and I'm grateful for the other DMs who do. So we have newbies, yeah. We were just talking earlier before our conversation here. They were bringing up, oh yeah, it's a concept based on Valorant. I don't play Valorant, but the other DMs do. So they're able to chime in and help this newbie relate and learn. Oh, this is a possible class that I can be. Oh, it's like the something from this video game that I know so much about. There you
Yes.
go. The,
I
the
think
the learning process is much easier, less effort on the DM's part to try to explain the rules, and the player less effort of trying to understand because they can grasp it because they already know something connected to it, similar
exactly.
to it.
Exactly. One thing
Yeah,
I love about how veteran players teach the new players, because like Corgi and I do character creation tutorials, but we're not the only ones. There are a
we're not the
lot of
only
character
ones.
creation tutorials left and right, and actually perfect timing for Cabs on YouTube. Any advice for both new DMs and veterans in handling newbie players? Great.
Well,
That was perfect timing. Thank you so much for that.
well, thank you for
So
that question.
yeah, it's like it again over being overwhelmed with the rules is normal. Don't over For new DMs. Don't overwhelm them with the rules. Don't tell them choose a class, choose a race. If you're a veteran player, ask them what concept do you want? What play style do you want? Do you have a favorite anime character? Do you have a favorite superhero? And then
Yep.
ask the veteran player. Give suggestions. I think that
Oh
Valorant
yeah,
player that we were talking about,
yeah.
originally he was like, "What's the best for rogue?" And then all the DMs just kept asking, "What playstyle do you want?" And then that when he finally gave that name of that Valorant character, people were like, "Okay,
Oh,
how
then you
about
could have.
this?" Right?
Yeah, yeah. It's here's something that I use when I do character creation tutorials. And the thing is, a lot of people, you either don't know what you're doing or don't know what you're doing just yet, or you have decision paralysis where so many things, they feel the overwhelm. Yeah. What I
Yes.
do is I boil down the character creation tutorial into 5 questions. The fifth question is optional, so there's 4. Number 1, what aspect of D&D would you like to try more? Would you like to we're more interested in combat? You want to fight things? Roleplay? You want to be a social kind of character more, or you want to be someone who explores, who looks for traps, who likes doing skills? Then second
Puzzles.
question, do you want to be a spell? Do you want to use magic, or do you want to not use magic, or do you want to just use a little bit of magic? And then third question, when you're fighting, what do you like to do when you're fighting? Do you want to hit things? Do you want to support, or do you want to do a little bit of both? And then number 4 is, when you're in combat, do you want to be near the action, slightly back from the action, or far away from the action? And question number 5 is, if you have a preference in D&D classes, you can let me know which one. But if they don't know, they don't have to answer that one. So those, just from those 4 questions, when they give me their answers, based on this, you could be first choice, second choice, third choice. And then we narrow down the 13 classes of D&D into just 1, 2, or 3 choices. And then we tell them about it, whichever sounds the coolest to them based on their playstyle or any existing concept that they have. And we work from there.
Yes.
And at the same time, we're showing them that yes, there are 3 things in D&D: combat, exploration, and roleplay. And yes, there is magic because spellcasters and non-spellcasters are both. And yes, you can be support. Yes, you can do damage. Yes, you can do a little bit of both. And yes, when you're fighting, you can be near, far, wherever. Sorry, near, medium, or far. Yeah. So it helps narrow down what the player wants. It helps narrow down their decision paralysis, so they can figure out what they want to try. And when they're saying that I want to try this and this and this and this, well, let's start with one character, and then we go to the next one when you're ready, or when you feel that you really want to, you know. Hopefully that answers your question. Mr. Bear, what about yours?
Personally, I relate it more to MOBA games. So
Yeah.
I asked the players like, how? Well, actually, because I'm a gamer, I would always ask them like, what video games do you play, or do you watch any movies? Do you have favorite anime, like what Corgi said? But more often than not, people are somewhat familiar with mobile games to an extent. If they are, usually my format is what type of characters do you play? Because I'm a person who believes that uh, when you play a character with your play style, you will play a lot better. Like in mobile games, like there are people who are natural who prefer playing as a tank, as a spellcaster, as a support, as a sharpshooter, as a melee fighter, or an all-arounder. And that's how I see it when I play a game. Like mainly I play as a support, or I play as a battlefield control. When I play as a martial, I'm not the best. Like of course I would be able to carry my own, but it's not as good as I would be as a support, because my natural instinct is to support my allies. So I would ask these questions to the players, like how do you want to fight in combat? And then from there, I would recommend classes. So you want to be a sharpshooter, but you also want to cast a bit of magic. So here are my recommendations. The two best, there are three that I can recommend. You can be a ranger. They cast spells. They shoot. You can be a rogue. They specialize in not getting hit and shooting and finding perfecting one perfect strike. Fighters, they specialize in attacking a lot and shooting a lot of arrows. And you can modify them later on so that you can cast spells while you're doing so. And
Yeah.
once the player starts to be like, "Oh my god, you can do that! I love that so much!"
Oh.
You know you're gonna have a fun time.
When you well, you can't really see them, but when you hear
We can hear
the
it. We can hear
enthusiasm
it.
in their voice, I'll be like, they caught
Yeah.
the bug. They caught the bug.
We
Now,
got
ayun,
it, we got it.
that's when I can lead and say, my job here is done.
Yes. All right. I'll see you on your. I'll see you in my tier 4 table.
I'll see you in the game, or I'll see you in the PHP server. You know, because you start seeing them joining games, and you eventually meet them at higher levels. Oh, they grow up so fast. Like,
Yes. And then they help out new players. Like, oh.
and they help out new players, and you see them doing their own tutorials, and then you see them DM, and then they DM for you.
Oh my god. Yes, 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 yes.
And then I'm like, this is the closest to parenting that I feel. I think.
Yes.
It feels good.
Yes. Your grandkids all grown up.
my grandchildren all grown up. Yes.
You know, one thing I really love about something that is kind of being done on both our tables now. We ask players to secretly vote for the MVP of the game. Of course, everyone carries
you
the
started
weight.
doing that.
Yeah, I know she did it for your fundraiser as well.
Yeah, but that was for an ulterior motive. Yes, but you do that all the time, you know, and it's nice. I like stealing that concept.
Yeah, everyone. I would recommend DM start asking people to vote for MVPs, because the one cool thing about D&D is that it's not really about dishing out the most damage. It's not about giving the best heals. More often than not, the MVP is somebody who works well with the team. I've seen players who are the lowest level, they deal the least amount of damage, they don't have that many resources as other players, but they still rank as the MVP. Reason for that is because while the game's going on, they're chatting on Roll20, being like, hey, my plan is to attack this person so that to give you advantage on this attack. What do you think? Is that okay? Or I think I want to focus fire on this person. Is that okay? What do you think about that? Normally, the best players in D&D, well, of course, everyone's a great player, but the ones that really stand out, usually that won my MVP titles, are the players who work well with the team. They share the spotlight with other players. They give attention to the new players. They aid other players when they're needed. It's awesome.
Yeah. Regardless of your role, if the party felt felt really good having you at their table, you will likely be on their list as an MVP. And
Mhm.
oftentimes it's the supports who get the MVP role, you know,
Mhm.
which I really appreciate because people appreciate those who help. Those who lend a hand usually are staying in the back line or behind the scenes. Speaking of, thank you to our moderator, dude. Thank you, dude, to dudes and dice and our moderator
Yes.
for setting this up because
Oh
oh
my
my
god,
goodness
yes.
gracious.
I'm leaving.
Thank you, Denmark.
Thank you, Denmark. Thank
Thank you.
you.
I send you hearts.
Love, love.
Love, 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 love. So
Yes.
that we have I think well, yeah, there's a lot of things to really get overwhelmed with, a lot of things that can
Yeah.
really be too difficult, but that's one aspect of D&D. One
Mhm.
thing that I get a lot is because there are a lot of TTRPGs, there's something that fits your needs. Like if you love strategy and you love war games, Warhammer is a thing, right? If
Yeah.
you love the horror aspect, it's Call of Cthulhu. D and
Yeah.
D in particular, which is I think is what you and I really specialize in, is more
Mhm.
on the collaboration and the RP. And one
Yeah.
thing that really scares people is that they're too shy to RP. What do
Oh
you think?
yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, it's true because I'm gonna try to give a rundown of a person of someone's thoughts when they're RPing for the first time. Okay, this is the character that I'm gonna play, and this is the concept that I have. Wait, no, that's probably not the best. Or maybe I should do this. No, 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 I should also do that. Yeah, okay, I'll stick with this. Okay, it's time to RP. It's time to RP. Ah God, I can't do it right. Do it again, do it again. No, 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 I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. Oh no, they're gonna judge me. They're gonna hate me. They're not gonna want to play with me anymore. I don't want to play anymore. And then they will just break down and they will shut down and they will feel discouraged to do so because they're worried about firstly what people will think of them, and secondly they don't know if they're doing it right, and especially if they're playing with more experienced people. They say, oh, these people are so good, they know what they're doing. I don't. The thing is, do any of us know what we're doing?
Yeah,
Do any of
sure.
us?
One
Do
of
any of us know?
everyone was a newbie at one point. Then all of
Everyone
us
was a
had struggled with
newbie.
RP.
We all started at level 1 when we were learning to play the game.
If
Uh,
I'm not mistaken, Corgi, your very first game with the community, with the D&D community, was with
yeah,
strangers, right?
it was with strangers. I knew
Yes.
nobody.
Yes.
I knew no one. No.
And how was your RP when you first started? Because like you've been on my table a lot of times, and for those of you who are on my server, go ahead and check out the Hall of Fame. You'll see that Corgi has one of the most MVP titles. And thing is, a lot of times she has meme characters, sometimes she has serious characters, but she gets it because of her teamwork. She really highlights other players, and people really want to vote for her. But Corgi, were you an amazing RP player before when you first started?
No. And
Right?
you asked me when your first game, how did you RP? And I'm like, what RP? No, no. It's like with anything to do relating to skills, you keep at it and you get better, and if and you go at the pace that you're most comfortable with, and it's general blanket advice, but it's pretty much gonna apply to everything here. Take it one step at a time. Take it baby steps, and take it baby steps at your own pace. The pace that lets you relax, keep calm, and learn, and
Mhm.
have fun. And regardless if your RP is just simple, yeah, you see this person standing. They give a shy wave. They look like this. They look like that. They say, "Hi, my name is insert name here, and I will be your bow
That's
and arrow, your archer for the day. Thank you." That's
Mhm.
that's RP. That's RP.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be professional. It doesn't have to be critical role style. It doesn't have to be like that. You don't have to voice act. That's already RP. When you interact with your party members, with the NPCs, with the DM, that's RP. And like with anything to do with relating to skills, you get better the more you practice it. Eventually you will get your groove. You start noticing, you're writing down your character's description, their introductions, and then you read it out loud to the people, and the people are like, ooh, I see that you're RPing a lot more, and they're gonna appreciate you for it. They're gonna notice your effort. I have a newbie who openly admitted to me that, yeah, I'm not really good with the RP. And I told them, don't worry about it. You'll get better at it at some point, or you're gonna wanna try it at some point. Here's some things that you can do, and when you're ready, feel free to try them. And then when I heard them for the first time read out something that they wrote, a spiel to introduce their character, I was like, aha!
So proud of you.
I'm so
Oh my
proud
god.
of you.
I remember, this is kind of circling back to one of our very first questions about somebody with anxiety learn how to play.
Yeah,
I remember
for sure.
there's this one player. Of course, I'm not going to give their name, but
No.
back when I had the Malate Tavern, this was the coffee shop behind my
Oh,
house.
okay.
Called it
Okay,
the
okay,
Malate
okay.
Tavern.
Yes.
This person came all the way. I think it was from Antipolo to Malate just to play D&D. This person went inside and saw that there were a lot of people. We had like 3 tables all playing D&D. We were noisy as F. And this person was so overwhelmed that they got nervous and
Yeah.
went home right after. And then
Mhm.
the person messaged me and was like, I'm so sorry, I have really bad anxiety and I got nervous when I saw all the people. I was like, oh my god, don't worry about that. We've been there. We've seen so many. We have a lot of people who are struggling with the same thing because people are more considerate to anxiety these days. So they said. So I told this person, okay, when are you free? No pressure on this. But when are you free anytime next week? This person said, I'm free on this day. Okay, no pressure on this. If you want, you can visit again, and I will personally meet you at the door. I'll be your DM. I'll introduce you to the players, and just be comfortable. Nothing to be nervous about. Everyone is here, and if you feel anxious, you can feel anxious. People, we've all been there. It's fine. And then this person slowly develops, starts to learn the rules, and they get even farther later on. And I was so impressed with this. That one time I was playing with this person as a player, and this person brought a character that was a conquest paladin, and when this person introduced their character, they were carrying a flag behind them, and when he enters the tavern, boom! Behold, I am the conqueror of this table. I was like,
Oh my
I'm
god.
so proud of you. You were so shy that you couldn't enter a room full of people, and now you have that amazing RP. I was so surprised when that happened. I
So
was
good.
so proud.
So
And then
good.
now, I hear that this person is DMing, doing like every single person who's played on this person's table says this person is an amazing RPDM. I'm like, oh my god, they're RPing. I'm so proud of this person on so many levels. We have a talking point: managing mental illness while wanting to play. Mental illness is a thing,
Is
and
very very is a very tiptoe topic.
mhm,
I am not. We are not
we're not
professionals.
professionals.
We're
Absolutely
only
not.
we're only basing it on our perspectives from
Mhm.
interacting with people who may or may not, or may have, or like to talk, or have talked about it. It's a sensitive topic, and we will.
Yes.
I'll keep it brief. I'll keep it brief.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, D&D is D&D. It helps. It helps. Not only does it help you learn how to communicate with others or empathize with others, and not only do you get a chance to speak with others who experience the same things that you do, but it helps you escape for a while, and it helps keep you. It can help keep you grounded at the same time, while escaping reality, and the happy feelings that you get from coming from a very very good game. It can be a very effective way to help you manage and I'm not gonna name drop anyone,
Mhm.
but I have spoken to someone before that and they openly told me that that D&D does help, and it was, as a matter of fact, encouraged by their therapist, as long as it doesn't interfere with other things that they must do in life. It can and you can incorporate it into how you can manage what you're feeling, any conditions you might have. It's a really really good way to it's a really really good tool that you can use to not only enjoy but to take care of yourself, you know.
Actually, building on that, this is something that I think is absolutely a difficult topic to discuss. But
Yeah,
while it's here, while we're on this topic,
yeah.
it is something that helps when you talk when it's talked about. One of the groups that
Mm,
I actively support is called Flourish Circle, and check them out on Facebook. Flourish Circle. One of the things that they really advocate is oftentimes when you're handling mental illness, yes, it is important to take your medications, it's important to go to therapy, but more often than not, one of the most accessible and most affordable is also the most overlooked, which is the
mm,
sense of community. That's why there
mm-mm,
are people who go through therapy, who go through medications. But when they don't have that sense of belonging or that sense of community, it tends to not be as effective. And that's one thing that I really love about the D&D community. Most people, I would say 99.9999% of people are very considerate over people with mental illness because they've seen a lot of them.
mm,
People have a lot of friends that have mental conditions,
mm.
and when you get to play with these people, you feel the sense of a community again.
Yeah,
Having that moment where an ally just jumps in and saves you at the
yeah,
end, and then you return the favor later on,
yeah,
and then afterwards, after the game, you start chatting with each other IRL, like, oh my god, your build is so amazing. We should play again sometime. And then other people call on to you, like, hey, we're playing a game. We're missing one person. Can you please join us? We want to see your character again.
yeah,
That's a sense of belonging.
yeah.
And that's something that D&D community really addresses. Of
And
course,
so no, yeah,
mhm.
go on.
Of
Go on.
course, it's not a remedy for mental illness.
No, it's not.
As a person, I'm diagnosed with depression, and with D&D, it's been a very good coping mechanism. It's been a
Mm,
very good tool for a community, and with a lot of with a lot of other people, they feel the same sense of community as well, and
yes.
it's always a big help. It's not the treatment. It's go to therapy, get medications, but at the very fundamental, get a sense of community, and the D&D community is
Yeah.
here for you on the mental with regards to that.
And of course, in every community there are people who lack knowledge on these
Mhm.
kinds of things, and when you have a community that you belong with and you relate to them in more ways than one, which is D&D, or if you have similar experiences, you can work together and help destigmatize these things. And if
Yes.
there's a whole group trying to work to destigmatize things such as talking about mental illness and stuff, uh, your voice is louder because you're all speaking together. Yeah,
Yes. And
and
actually, there are a lot of mods that deal with serious topics, and there are disclaimers beforehand, like Paul
disclaimers.
Gabbett's mod, particularly called Brotherhood. Not gonna give any details because no spoilers, but it's about accepting death. It's about
Yeah,
coping with death.
yeah,
There's another mod that's very hits home to a lot of people. Like, people were legit crying on my table when I ran this for them. It was about an NPC going through depression, and the mod states that if you say things like "cheer up, pray to your deity," or "look at the bright side," you were stronger than this before. It doesn't work. The way to the way to help this person is to empathize with them, to try and understand
Yep.
them, to hug them and say it's okay to feel this way, but we're here for you. And that's how to take care of somebody with a mental condition, IRL. And I love how mods are being more considerate to that these days.
Oh yeah, and they encourage safety tools.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
if you don't want these themes, if you don't want these themes to be talked about in depth detail, you can X card.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's not just mental illness. Things like Alzheimer's and whatnot. There are modules that make sure to tell the players that this is what you're dealing with, and if it's something IRL that you're not comfortable with, at least you know and you get to prepare for it.
Mhm.
It doesn't hit you unexpectedly. You can brace yourself, and at the same time you get closer to your character because you relate to what the character is seeing when you're playing in game, and it's just great. It's just really
Yes,
really really cool.
absolutely.
Oh, and speaking of, okay, let's inhale. What's the word? Inflate, deflate, hydrate.
Yes,
Inflate,
inflate, deflate,
deflate,
hydrate.
hydrate.
Reminder to everyone: drink water, stay hydrated.
Drink water,
Mhm.
stretch.
Yes,
Yeah,
stretch.
water. Wait, not
That's a heavy
coffee. Let me
topic, but
switch. Let me switch to
important to talk
water.
about it. Yes.
Yes.
But yes, we do have a lot of people online. So at any time, if you have any questions, shoot them out because Corgi and I are always happy to answer. Will be there be a we have a question from Andre on YouTube. Will there be a surge of D&D shows or be more theatrical in the adventure, such as the Critical Role, mainly in the Philippines? Actually, yeah, like weren't you part of a very popular YouTube video a few weeks ago, Corgi?
I don't know about that YouTube video.
Yeah, what I'm talking about. People weren't on
Well,
the comment
it's
section
not.
saying you sounded
It's
like
not.
Angel of Sin.
It's not theatrical. So,
Uh-huh.
but it was. But it's a step. It's a step.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of live streams already that the local where they run D&D games,
Mhm.
and their cameras are on. They get to speak. Uh, there are plenty of say local content creators who do that. One of which is I believe it's called Buko Juice RPG. I catch them on stream sometimes on Twitch where their cameras are on. The DM and the players and the DM, they interact with one another. Thank you so much, Denma, for that video shout out. Uh, but yes, there are live streams locally where they play D&D together as a group, and I think with enough work, it could be a theatrical. It could be a theatrical, more theatrical, definitely. It's if it can be done internationally, it can definitely be done locally. And I'm pretty sure it's already being done. We just need to get the word out all the more, and that's why we're adamant about say supporting local, like
Mhm.
like
Yes,
this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
Uh huh.
support local, support your local artists. Again, actually, like you know, what, everything that we just brought out is all like handmade. Like yeah, this it's like now that you mention it, like Owlbear upcycles old supplies, old garments, and all, and turn it into very detailed things. Even with Wild Magic Gaming Oddities, they use
Mm.
they handcraft everything. Like oh my god. So yeah, support your local artists, and if your friend
They
streams something, support them. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. Even and for actually for everyone, like now that you mention it, like there's been a surge of people like opening, let's say, Patreons for Kofi's, or opening their Gcash for games, uh, or people making, let's say, people making like Roll20 setups or maps, for example, token commissions. one thing that I would say to those people is, for those people who haven't gotten started yet, just get started. It doesn't have to be perfect right off the bat. It'll get perfect eventually. You'll get there. And in the end, if you have friends, support each other. It doesn't have you don't have to shoot them. You don't have to subscribe to their Ko-fi or anything. Even just sharing the word,
Yeah.
even just talking about them, that
Yeah.
is a great way to support.
As a matter
It
of
helps.
fact, oh, did my sound drop, Mr. Bear? Just
You like it just a little bit, but it sounds good.
But did I return?
Yes, you're back.
Do you see my friend over here on my shoulder?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
I have
good.
no idea how
Kasi,
you balance that. It's like I can't do it.
I use my head and my shoulder together. And of course this boy like. Anyway. Speaking of shoutouts, thank you Miguel for saying hello, for greeting me. Hello. Glad to see you here at the stream. Thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate the support. And yes, speaking of support, as a matter of fact, when we have our Patreons and Ko-fis, we it's just funny because when we send them a tip, it just passes around.
Yeah.
To be honest, it just passes around because we're all supporting each other. Because of course,
Exactly.
if you know, while we all do what we gotta do, the best thing we can do is support. You don't have to send the money our way. You can just send the word out.
Share.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Just share.
Refer.
Just share.
Actually,
talk
just
about it.
even just talking to the person and just telling them like, I'm so good job, you finally got it started. That's a huge confidence boost. But
It is.
yeah,
it
like
is.
during Not an Epic, we had it was a successful event, and it was a fundraiser for somebody in our community. And it's funny that one particular person is a DM. The money that he spent for Not an Epic to give as part of the fundraiser was really just his commissions as a DM. So
Oh
it's just
yeah.
like pasa-pasa na. Like
Yep.
another
It
one,
just
like
passes around. Just passes
another
around.
one, like I subscribe to I subscribe to the Dragon Queen on her Ko-fi, and then she subscribed to my Patreon. So it's like, are we really earning anything? We're really just moving the money around.
Yeah.
Because
Just,
it's
just
support that
passing
means
the love.
That's
Just passing the love. Well, anyway, I as much as I love our conversations, I can't believe it's been almost 2 hours already. Oh my
That's alright.
goodness.
Wow. Hey.
But anyway, oh
Wow,
wait, I think
crazy.
we've got I think we got a last question in from
Oh
Andre.
yeah, sure.
Have you DMs encountered a crazy PC build that's surprisingly working all the time? All the
It's
time. All the time. You
Seeing them.
all the time because people like to meme, but the great thing about it is people, they do meme, they make the effort to meme, but they make the effort to make it work and make it effective, and that's great. And I think that's amazing. Mr. Bear, I'm sure you have many examples
Yes.
from players
all-
you've met.
From players I met, wow, there's so many of them. But off the top of my head, one of my crazy builds is my rogue monk. My PCs generally don't deal damage, and one thing there's a constant with my characters: one, they have to be bear themed, and two, they have to be immune. Yeah, so
Of course.
my character, fastest bear alive, is Barry Allen.
Of
Fastest bear
course.
alive. With his full combo, he has 880 movement speed. One time, I just grappled an enemy and dragged him off the map, and then ran
Of
200
course.
feet away. DM was just like, "Okay, this guy takes a day off. He's gone. He leaves. He goes
Yeah,
home."
exactly.
It's just
Or
fun.
ridiculous
Crazy
builds by Pichu, such as heavy armor monks and stuff,
Heavy armor monks.
which technically should not work, but they make it work, which is great and it's amazing.
Wizard
There
with a
are a
death
lot
curse.
of crazy PC builds that surprisingly work in games. So many, like I do not have that many. They're just memes. That they work to an extent. They're not the best. I've seen way better. I've seen worse / better. It's just great. It's just really, really funny. We encounter them all the time. all the time. I can't tell you enough how many times we've encountered it. So
Absolutely.
anyway, it's been 2 hours, Mr. Bear,
Yeah. Don't want to
and
keep you here too long.
but
Again,
we could stay and then transition because we're both playing in the same game later. Hmm?
yeah, that is true. Yeah. So remember how we talked about how Corgi and I are kind of crazy with D&D? We actually
Yeah,
have a game later, and they're gonna be the DM. Corgi's gonna
we
play.
actually have a game later. Yes.
Yes.
If
So if you want to
if
check it out, hop onto the Cavern. Mr.
yeah
Bear's Cavern.
yeah if the gods of of the streaming gods will permit it, maybe.
Yes.
But anyway, this was an amazing conversation. It's kind of
Indeed.
it's pretty much the same that that we talk about all the time when it's late in the evening, hanging out in the library, the library chat, the public discussion room. But what have you learned today, Mr. Bear? What any takeaways that you'd like to share, or other shout outs you'd like to do?
One thing, my biggest takeaway right now is that while yes, learning a new hobby can always be intimidating, the D&D
Oh, for sure.
community in particular is ready to accept you with a very big bear hug because we've all been newbies, and
Everyone
again,
was a newbie.
99.99999% of players are very accommodating towards new players because they've been there and they learn how to play the game because another veteran member taught them. So when you become a veteran member, pay it forward. Take care of the new players as well. So what about you,
Definitely.
Corgi? Did you what's your biggest takeaway?
Well, I'll summarize it with my blanket statement. Uh, Take it slow, follow your own pace, and remember to take care of yourself, because no D&D is better than D&D that makes you sick, or bad D&D, or D&D that compromises other aspects of your life. Uh, I myself have trouble following my own advice, but don't we all have trouble following our own advice? But we're all here to learn. There's always something new to learn, always something else to help us get better. You can be. We'll help you along, but ultimately it's ultimately you who makes that call.
Actually, Corgi, if I'm not mistaken, you do have like there are a lot of new players right now because like October, there's a lot of new players in the community. I believe you have a fundraiser. You have a fundraiser that has a lot of
I
games for
do.
new players, and you're very considerate towards new players. Like you even to tutor them before the game. And I played on one of your newbie games, and of course, I'm just hungry for games. And you really gave the new players a lot of room to work with. You definitely did not make it a cakewalk. You challenged them, but in the end, they became amazing players. Is there a link to your fundraiser?
Definitely. Stream gods, if you would be so kind as to drop the link to my
Yes.
fundraiser. If I manage to reach the goal by the end of October, this will be the last fundraiser series that I will be doing. Meaning, I will have more time to actually open games again, like open games for people who really want to join. Uh, for this month though, they're a little bit on the spoopy side, so that not everything will be super newbie friendly. Just giving that bit of a heads up, but I will do my best to give you a great experience and to accommodate those who are new to the game. My first fundraiser game is happening in 2 days. Uh,
Yes.
for 48, like 50 hours from now, or 51 hours from now, I'll be running an adventure called The Den of the Dead Witch. Hmm.
Yes.
That sounds super newbie friendly. Super.
Absolutely newbie
That was
friendly.
sarcasm.
And
Mm.
what's that game on the 21st that you're running?
I am running
Tier
called
2.
Into the Dark,
Yes, into the
DDAL
dark.
08-07.
It
One of
sounds like it's a lot
the
of has a lot to do with rainbows and sunshine.
rainbows and sunshine,
Absolutely.
rainbows and butterflies.
If there are any
Definitely.
not so experienced players who've or like who've only been playing for some time, please join that game because I actually just signed up for it a while ago. I
Thank
can't
you
miss a
so
Corgi
much.
game. I love Corgi. I love Corgi's games. Like it's
Thank you so
always so
much.
shenanigan heavy. I remember first time I played on your table, Corgi. There was such an edgy dragon that just popped out.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, how you RP that was hilarious. And up to now, that
Oh
happened
yeah. Oh yeah.
6 months
If
ago.
that
We're still talking about it.
that yeah, I don't know why I did it, but I did.
And you
Yeah.
RP'd it amazingly. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Into the Darkness. I hope to see some viewers on that game because I'll be playing as well.
That'd
Gonna
be
bring one
great.
of my Mimi Bear themed characters.
That is
Probably gonna bring
fine.
my Speedster.
That's fine. That's fine. It sounds like sounds very 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 fun.
Yes.
I totally look forward to it. And
Mm.
Mr. Bear,
Mm.
speaking of any people you'd like to plug and promote, I
Oh my
believe there
god.
seems to be another fundraiser from our friends
Yeah,
over at the Mind Palace.
the Mind Palace. Oh my god,
Mm,
I gotta give a cheer track for that. Just wanted to share with you. The Mind
yeah,
Palace is throwing a fundraiser, and
yeah.
these are some of again going back to when we're talking about our grandchildren over the people that we taught.
Grandchildren.
These these two people in the Mind Palace are some of my very first students. I remember doing character creation with them and being like, okay, how do you feel about this build? Do you want to work with this one? And then they hopped on, they started playing, and now they are both amazing DMs. I can't say no to their game. I'm signed up for a few of their games this month as well. It's just the Mind Palace. They have their own server, doing so well. I'm so proud of them. This is DM Sherlock and DM Watson, such a cute couple. They are hosting their fundraiser over at the Mind Palace. So hop on over to the Mind Palace. That is their spelled exactly like that. Mind Palace. That's their logo. They're hosting their fundraisers. A lot of amazing ones. And one thing I can say is that for those of you who who have some of those who have a little bit of anxiety when RPing, I gotta tell you, sign up for those games. They will help you bring out the best RP of your character because these are both amazing RPDMs. They're very considerate towards players with anxiety or they're very considerate towards people who are very shy. They won't force you to RP if they'll make you do what you're comfortable with. But
Mm.
if you decide if you feel comfortable with them, the RP, you will feel like a god or goddess. That's one thing I really love about the Mind Palace, and I'm
They
just so proud of them.
reciprocate. They reciprocate the wacky RP that I do, and I can't get enough of their games. It's just great.
Yes.
And other than
Yeah.
fundraisers, I
Uh-huh.
hear the lounge has something to offer.
Yes, Tabletop Lounge is running another event at the end of this month. The theme is going to be horrifying creatures. This one is might not be as newbie friendly, but if you are up for a challenge, you are going to enjoy this. Corgi, you're running a table there. I'm so excited. I
Oh,
hear you're
am
running.
I?
Yeah.
Oh, am I? Looking
Surprise!
forward to it.
Corgi Punibo, you're running Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
I am excited to do so. I like it's been a while since I ran that. So
Yes.
it's really something to look forward to. There you go. I was just about to send that. Thank you for opening that
Thank you
image.
so much. Yes. So
Yes.
October 2021 game day. It's happening on October 30 over at the Tabletop Lounge Discord server. You can check it out on Facebook, Tabletop Lounge, and do your sign up. So what's cool about this is that you can actually play up to three. You can actually play up to so many games in one day. There are some people who are signed up for 2 tier 4 games in one day.
Oh, sana all.
One of them's gonna be on my table, so hey. But there's a lot of events there. But what's even cooler for those of you who are in the Parañaque area, Tabletop Lounge has a physical location that will open once it's safer. It's because of course safety and health is most important.
For sure.
We have a lot of things to make sure that you are safe. We disinfect everything, even your dice, with our UV lights. We have inverted airflow to make sure that air gets sucked out of the building immediately. We have tables that are spaced out. Everyone has their individual table that can be arranged. So that is going to open probably at the start of the first quarter next year.
Mm.
Once we do open, every participant of all our online events gets a gift certificate for time to play. So not only do you get to play during the online event, but in the future, when you can go to Paranaque area, you can just accumulate all of your gift certificates and just go on a full D&D day. You're gonna have a blast in that place.
Live there for a week, do nothing but D&D.
Yeah,
Sounds like my kind of weekend, or yeah,
yeah.
sounds like my kind of week.
Sounds like a regular week for you.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're
That's
not
true.
wrong.
That's true. That's true.
You're not
Actually, I'm
wrong.
like 5% sure that after our game later, there's gonna be another game.
I
5%
you're not.
sure.
I feel it in the force. I strongly
Yes.
feel it that it's gonna happen. Either another game or we just chillax and
Yes.
continue this conversation.
Yes. Actually, yeah, we have another game in about an hour from now.
Yeah.
And
Right.
people are going to be able to watch, right? Like over at the hunting grounds. I give players insp if they stream for people.
Yeah.
So I believe if we can have my Discord link, everyone is welcome. You're free to watch over at the hunting grounds as I bring Corgi and her party through a very interesting dungeon. Maybe there'll even be a dragon in this game we call Dungeons and Dragons.
Maybe. Well,
Maybe.
I think we are going in a dungeon. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a dragon. Who knows?
Ah. Who knows? You'll find out if you listen in. If the stream gods will allow it, will we be given permission to broadcast it to the world as well?
Maybe.
Yes. You could. Hello.
Hi,
Uh,
Denma.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to the first episode of Fear of the Unknown. Of course, I've offered it to you guys. You definitely can use the restream if you'd like to broadcast it on both your pages if you'd like. Definitely can give you guys access there. But yes, thank you for the first episode of Fear of the Unknown, Fear of the New Player. I hope people were able to take away insights from the lovely Mr.Bear and the lovely DM Corgi. You can definitely catch them on their links, their plugs, and all their lovely events. And of course, the next episode is going to be getting out of your comfort zones in game systems, which will be discussed by John from Level Up Game Nights, and as well as Matt from RPG Cebu. So tune into that. They will be streaming it not at 3 to 5 though. They will be streaming it at 8 to 10 p.m. So they'll be taking the night shift next Monday. These will be 3 Monday talks over the month of October. So thank you for starting out a great pilot episode for this trilogy series. Sharon.
yes.
Like most adventurous leagues, there are 3 there are trilogies, there are series. This is the first of the series. Hope you guys can check out the 2 other episodes over the coming Mondays. So yeah, thank you again. Any last words before we?
Thank you so much, Mr. Bear, for this awesome conversation. Thank you so much to
Yeah,
Denma for
always.
arranging all of this, dudes and dice. Oh my god! Thank you to our
Love Dudes and
audience
Dice.
for all the questions and interacting with us. It was a fun time. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing you on our tables.
Until we play again.
Yes. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Corgi says bye.
Bye.